eggshell. It would float into it. And I'm like, this sink is awesome looking. I want that installed in my home that I own one day. But apparently, because 4chan used to just let you upload, like it would be like a 3 meg file for this JPEG that was like, standard JPEG size, and JPEGs are compressioned to the point where it's like, okay, the most quality for the most compression at the same time. It's a good ratio, so it shouldn't be 3 megs.
Yeah.
And so when other people would open it up using X programs that I didn't know about, but fucking all those syncs were containing either links or straight photos of child pornography, and I'm like, but so now, like, because when you take a picture, your camera keeps data in it called the EXIF data, and so people were being tracked down through 4chan because you didn't used to strip that. Now it strips all excess data. You only get the picture, and I'm like, good,
Good, yeah,
because I like those syncs. You know what doesn't show up anymore? Fucking sync threads.
Oh,
I know, it's bullshit.
Yeah, because I remember seeing something like that on Law and Order Special Vu, right?
Oh yeah, that's the place to find it.
Okay, so first off, the best analogy I heard about these kinds of shows was like, these are hour-long versions of shows that should have been movies, and they're still really crappy.
I don't know.
Some of them are okay, I guess.
I love every fucking episode of SVU. Like, I don't know. I think you know what? It's because Ice-T.
I was all about Elliot until they got rid of Punch Cop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get that guy. That's the guy I get.
Well, I like how it was really cool watching him just accelerate through the seasons, where it was like, oh man, he was really rough handling him. Like he would be the guy that would chase the guy down and then tackle him from behind.
Yeah.
And then it came to the point where he's like, he's just gonna punch the guy out and take him in.
I was like, I remember watching that episode on Special Vu.
Yeah.
And it was I related to it because he's like, I saw it one way, and no, you didn't see it the same way that it actually happened on the cell phone footage.
Right.
He's like, I just, I tackled him and took him down, and then he started having like heart failure, and then it's on the video. It's like, you tackled him, and then you started kicking the crap out of him.
Hell yeah, you did.
And I was just like,
but I'm like,
I get that, because I know what it's like to have like blinding rage.
I'm like, as a viewer, I loved it because it was an arc inside of an episodic show. Like,
yeah,
because it's like
Monster of the Week.
Yeah, it's like it's exactly, it is Monster of the Week. It's who's touching kids today, who's raping their secretary today. It's like,
me.
But I wish I had a secretary.
Yeah.
Fuck. You know what? That'd be real nice. Can't afford that.
Don't be giving people my tags here. All right.
Maids.
No, I honestly, it's not maids.
Oh, you hate maids? I love
I don't
maids.
hate maids. It's just, it's so far-fetched because it's like, I'll never have enough money to hire a maid.
That might be it. You know what? That might be my real tag. It's not the maid tag. It's being a filthy rich bastard. That's my tag.
Yeah. So yeah, anyways, welcome back to the childishly kitty,
the Gambino show.
Yeah,
the childishly Gambino show.
The childishly Gambino show. No, Scum Bag and Friend show. It's Tim as always with my buddy Max.
Hey,
how's it going?
One of us is the scumbag today. You get to figure out which one. The one that likes maids or the one that doesn't.
The one that says he couldn't afford a maid.
Yeah, right.
Look. We established this last show where it's like, I've only got time and money to spend on things, and I don't have either for maid fantasy. I don't know why.
Man. I don't know. If I can find a good maid, I'll make room. I'm that kind of guy.
I will dox myself a little bit. Now, I don't mind. Not that I don't mind. I actually do really like the office lady.
Oh yeah.
Thing.
Oh, for sure.
The businesswoman or the secretary. Same.
I've talked to this multiple times off tape, I guess this is, because we're not on camera yet.
Not yet.
But no, I've told you this many times. I'm like, my fantasy ever since I was a little boy, I was like, I want the office lady. I didn't know it was an office lady I was looking for, but I'm like, I wanted mature ladies back then. Now I know that I was always looking for the office lady. I'm looking for that strong, confident woman who has a career, who can take care of herself, but also wants to treat me, as hers.
Yeah,
I'm like,
so, according to 4chan, you're looking for Christmas cake.
Oh, hell yeah, I am. And I'm like, but it's weird as you get older, like your fetishes don't age with you, So It's like, I'm sure there's, you know what? this might be an explanation for some pedophiles. Maybe they're just stuck. I want to be the 12-year-old having a healthy romantic relationship with another 12-year-old, but then they got older, you know?
That was one of the more disturbing arcs in Special Vu, where it was like,
oh, Christ.
The kid got kidnapped and then started becoming familiar, and then the kid got kicked out because she got too old for the pedophile, and it's just like, whoa.
But she's still addicted. She's still she wants it. He doesn't anymore. Oh, you're too old for me. And she's like, no, I love you. It's that show is so good.
It's so tough because it's like, if you're a dude like that, and I could only imagine that you would have to keep that kind of pressure on yourself all the time. Like, you couldn't expose yourself to anyone.
But I can't think like that. You know, like the idea is always to put yourself in the mind of the killer or, you know, the criminal. I can't do that. That is too far for me.
Like, okay, so things like arson, I get arson.
Yeah, I can do fire.
I can do fire. I can do murder. I can do all of these things where it's like, when I was a fucking kid in high school, I used to be really hippy dippy where it was like, oh man, I would never kill anyone. And why do we make guns? And why are we going to war? And then it's just like, it just turned on in me all of a sudden where it was just like, just because I think that way doesn't mean people won't want to kill me.
Yeah, right?
If I was a soldier and I went there with like this love and peace fucking message and I could still get killed. Just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your intent is. You're still going to get killed. So it's like, oh yeah, the world is pretty fucked up still. So.
You know what? I went on the opposite scale of that, actually. Fucking growing up, you know, I had a bad childhood, blah, blah, blah. I hate the world and the world hates me, so I might as well, you know, I hope they all burn and die and shit. And I'm like, and I go in and that gives me the perspective of like, you know what? No, life is pretty fucking precious, you know? And fucking overseas even, I'm like, these people are laying down their life, you know, the same as I am. You know, they're fighting for their cause. I think, like, personally, I think their cause is stupid. But, you know, fucking more power to them, you know.
Are we still talking about the KKK?
Yeah, no, for sure. Fucking bunch of idiots. But they stand up for themselves, and you know what?
They pulled permits.
I respect that.
That was the fucking weirdest thing where it was like they pulled permits. I guess they do have the right because they did everything by the book.
You know what? Fucking, yeah. You know, as much as you can say about fucking, what was it? Charlottesville, was it?
Yeah, Charlottesville.
Fucking, as much as you can say negative about the fact that the KKK pulled the permits and legally got all their rights in order and followed the letter of the law
and got all the citronelle torches from fucking Home Depot
and got the torches from Home Depot. Hey man, they were in fucking Charlottesville, North Carolina. North Carolina. But you're right. It's but they're down there in the swamplands
where the mosquitoes are.
So they're not only are they following the law, they're looking out for their brothers. You know what? I'll hand it to them. They are well prepared for what they want to do. You know who wasn't? The counter protesters.
Yeah, they just went there kind of unorganized versus the guys that were organized. And this isn't like pulling for either side here. It was just like, this is a bunch of stupid shit that's all happening at once.
So there you go. If you ever want to spread your message of hate, do it like the KKK. You know, do it by the book. You know? I mean, no one's going to listen to you because you're a bunch of fucking retards. But, I mean, at least no one should legally stop you.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree with that because it's like I don't want my rights infringed.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Max, what's going on? Who's the scumbag of the week?
Man, it's way too late for the fucking Charlottesville thing. But I think my favorite scumbag of the week is gonna have to go to. I don't know. I have to pick a side on this. I'm gonna have to say the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Okay. Give me the story.
Okay, so the story is there was a UFC fight where I can't.
Oh yeah, with Nurmagomedov.
I was going to start with Conor McGregor because I can pronounce his name.
Yeah, and
his opponent Khabib
Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov. Is that how it's said?
Yeah,
you got me, man. Oh, so this fight goes down. And
Conor gets the crap kicked out of him.
Khabib comes up and he's like, I am the bigger man.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking, it was a good win. And then after that win, he jumps into the crowd and he's like, I'm going to keep winning against Conor McGregor's backline.
Yeah, like one of the, because Conor has this propensity to kind of like, he is who he is. He's a caricature of a fucking drunk Irish fighter.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, he always, whenever you watch him in his press conferences, that's what he does. He always wants to egg you on by getting in your head.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And generally when people look at trash talk, sorry, I was sick for the past couple of days. When people look at trash talk, it does one of two things to dudes, especially fighters. It either gets in their head or they ignore it, right? And if it gets in your head, you can lose the fight before you even get into the ring, because it's like, oh, I've seen the way you fight. You fight very stiff, you know? It's you don't even fight good against southpaws because he's a southpaw.
Yeah.
And he's like, you only fight orthodox. You don't fight southpaws. And it's just like that kind of shit can get in your head if you're not really like prepared for battle.
Yeah.
But if you're, you know, if you're of the warrior mindset, then it's whatever. But he likes to egg people on with that kind of shit.
Oh yeah. Just to do like a small breakdown. So when I was in the military and they were teaching us how to fight, you know, how to take people down and break stuff, you know, you're getting in there, you are going to hurt somebody. So what they teach you is to visualize one attack, one finisher, you know. Do you want to choke the guy out? Do you want to break his limb? You
Go for the tombstone pile driver.
Exactly. You know, it's like you're shooting for that one move that's going to finish him off, and
then get him on the 3 count.
Exactly.
Then you'll be the champion.
Hell yeah. Fuck Brock Lesnar. But it's like, so this trash talk coming at the start of a fight, you know, this wind up to UFC fights, it's a different no, it's the same mindset. At the very beginning, you are studying the other guy's tapes. You are like fucking the Russian is watching Colin McGregor's fights and he's studying him and he's finding a weakness, and then Colin McGregor comes out and he starts taunting him and saying, you can't get me with a snap, you know, you can't get me on the ground. And then he's gonna be like, well, I'm gonna show him, you know. If he gets in his head, he knows how he's going to attack. It's
glorified distraction is what it is.
It's great. I love it. I love the fact that it's there. So there are tapes of Colin McGregor, like I don't know, I'd have to check the article itself, but before the fight, he was attacking, you know, not just as a fighter saying, oh, your fighting style is bad and I'm going to take you out because I know better than you. No, Colin McGregor was attacking him for being a Russian, being a dirty drunk. You know, he was attacking his lineage, his fucking heritage, his religion. He's going like full racist. He was going full KKK. You know, you are subhuman to me because you're a dirty Russian. You know?
And same thing with Connor's Corner. Apparently, like they started mouthing off.
Jesus
too,
Christ.
And that's why he
and
jumped in there.
And this is what escalated that. And I'm just like, you sat in the ring and you rung Colin McGregor's bell. You know, you took him the fuck out. If it was, as a fighter, for me, if I was really pissed, I would keep attacking Colin, you know?
Yeah.
They would ring the bell and they would disqualify me because I beat the shit out of Colin. But jump in the fence. The dude climbed over that octagon and he started beating the shit out of the crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm just
that's
like,
what's up.
damn.
That, like, when you got a Hulk smash, you got a Hulk smash hard.
Yeah, no. I'm like I don't take offense to things. I grew up hard, so it's like fucking when you have your parents calling you shit, when someone else calls me shit, it's like, who are you to me, you know?
Yeah.
But so it's like, but I can see coming from a normal person with a normal upbringing, you start attacking their family, you know, you start saying, oh, your mom's, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, okay, that could get in your head bad. I applaud the guy for using that anger and taking it out on for the win, you know, because he got it convincingly. And then, but the restraint should have come at that point.
Yeah, like it's not a dimmer switch is always the metaphor I heard. Like once you're going and it's go time for a while. You don't dial it back. And this is what, like, it's applicable to cops too, because it's like when it's go time, it's go time. If you're chasing somebody down and going all the way back to special VU, it's like you're chasing somebody down and your adrenaline's going. Sometimes it's like it's just on until it's off.
Until someone pulls you off.
Yeah, it doesn't like, oh, well, we're going to start at like a 3, and then if you start running, I'm at a 5, and then 10 would be I shoot you, but like I'll just dial it up incrementally.
Let me tell you, it's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing going through military training, because you know what they tell you in your head all the time? They're like, you are shooting to kill. You are grabbing to kill. And so when we do the rolls, when we do the fights against our buddies, when they start us out on the ground, both of us, and we just start wailing on each other, and it's like, and once they tap, what the sergeant is telling you is, you don't stop there, but stop there.
Yeah.
You know? So it is like this weird dichotomy in your head constantly. So it's like, there's quite a bit of injuries between buddies that don't get reported, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, the guy got knocked out for 4 hours because he didn't release the choke.
That concussion.
Yeah, that concussion.
Oh, man.
Hope he didn't get hurt too bad.
Well, we'll get Will Smith over there with the bad African accent to do the concussion movie.
But the reason the Nevada State Commission is the scumbag is because they withheld, I can't say his name.
Nurmagomedov Madoff.
They withheld his purse, his $3 million purse. But Colin McGregor, as soon as that beating was over, he ran straight to the commission. He grabbed his purse and he left.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, the tapes are given over to the Nevada State Commission. So it's like, it's this idea that there was a huge conflict. This guy went wild in the crowd, and the Nevada State Commission didn't question that. They just handed off the purse to Colin McGregor and said, hey, here's your part for the fight. Thanks. Be on your way. This guy's crazy over here. It's like, no, it's a fight. This wasn't incited just because he felt like he wanted to beat the crowd up a bit, you know? There's a reason for this, you know? Have your wits about you as a commission.
Yeah.
Be like, there's something shady going on here. We need to get to the bottom of this. We are holding both purses, you know?
Yeah.
Because Nurmagomedov is facing ban, you know?
Yeah, they were talking about there was a possible title strip that could happen. And it's justly, because you shouldn't be beating up civilians.
Yeah, no,
this
right?
Is the whole like
they didn't sign up to be in the ring, and yet he's dragging the ring to them.
Yeah, exactly. You brought the fight to them. This is the whole Geneva Convention, dude.
Right. And this is if
I showed up with fucking 6-ounce gloves and a Speedo, then okay, I'm probably asking to get my ass kicked. But if I'm just there in a casual polo and some jeans, I'm not asking for a fight, dude.
It's the old fucking Chappelle joke, you know, fucking I didn't know she wasn't a whore because she was wearing a whore's outfit, you know. So there you go. Look up whore's outfit Chappelle's show, or not even Chappelle's show. I don't think you could
even make that kind of a joke anymore.
Right? Fucking Christ.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, so back to the fucking continuing of this. Fucking Colin McGregor himself is not a sweet angel, you know. He doesn't.
Oh no.
He talks shit. He fucking wrecked that bus earlier.
Yeah, by throwing like a hand truck at it or some shit is what I saw, and like a fence.
Him and his whole crew wrecked a bus, attacking, looking for one of the other fighters.
Yeah, it wasn't Nurmagomedov.
It wasn't,
but it was somebody else, and he was throwing fucking guardrails and hand trucks like dollies at this bus and caused a lot of damage.
He's not this innocent guy. He is a heel, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, as good as he can fight, he's a dickbag outside the ring as well. So it's like, as the commission, you say, why was he attacking McGregor? Oh, it's McGregor.
Yeah.
Something must have happened. You know, let's get to the bottom of this. So I'm holding them responsible for this potential stripping. Fucking UFC itself, I don't know, like, part of me says the drama is part of the show.
It
is.
You
know, like, it has to be.
And and like the whole them talking shit to each other at the weigh-in.
Yeah.
It's a historic part of the fucking UFC.
Oh,
like
it happened it started in boxing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But what I was going to say is that it doesn't always unfold that way, because there's plenty of like I've seen plenty of the UFC like weigh-ins, and then the dudes like loop arms around each other and just like share a drink like they're on their honeymoon. You know what I mean? Like they just share fucking
like boyfriend
water.
And boyfriend.
Yeah, because like sometimes it's we're still bros, you know.
Oh yeah,
and
we're here for a fight, and we're gonna give you our best.
Yeah, but you know we're gonna be bros before and after this.
There you go.
And you're right. Like McGregor has this history of being a heel.
Yeah.
And that's just how he is. He just wants to be an asshole. He's not friends with many people in the UFC.
Right.
It's just that's the way McGregor is.
I'm glad he got his ass beat.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to the other guy to fucking reclaim his name, and he's come out and he's already apologized. You know, he's come out and said, you know, I'm sorry to Nevada, I'm sorry to the gaming commission, I'm sorry to the fans, you know. Like I got in over my head.
Yeah,
but it's like, and where's McGregor in all this? You know?
He didn't mean to. I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Yeah, right. I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, at the point when they start jumping in, you know, it's a schoolyard fight now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's fucking, or you've made it into one by having your crew back you up.
Yeah,
fucking
and be like, oh, you stole my lunch money, and then you said something about Yo Mama.
Yeah, right.
And it's like Yo Mama's so drunk that you know she doesn't know whether to eat the potatoes or ferment them into vodka.
Damn,
something I don't know.
Like that.
It's hard for me to be both racist and do a Yo Mama joke. So, but
no. So yeah, Scumbag Gaming Commission gets to the bottom of it, clear some names.
They did something similar with like Mayweather also. Like they've been known to hold money back from Mayweather.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, Mayweather is also a heel. Like he's also a big bad guy when it comes to this kind of shit. Arguably one of the best boxers of our time and in his weight class by far. Like he's not 49 or 50-0 for no reason.
It makes you wonder, is it being that good that makes you that big of a dick? Does to go anime with it, fucking once you get to a certain power level, do you become Frieza? Do you just start fucking blowing up planets just because you can?
Just because you can.
Who's gonna stop me?
You need to be reminded. You need to remind the world every so often that you've got the biggest gun.
Yep, you got to find that Goku to fucking put you in your place eventually.
Yeah, because as much as you want to think of it that way, there's very few Gokus. It's very hard to be Goku, and it's very easy to be Frieza.
Oh, well, fucking once you become the Goku, you start becoming Frieza.
Yeah,
because once you beat the last guy, fucking...
Then you are the top dog.
Yep, fucking Tyson, didn't lose, but he got taken out, and so Mayweather took the spots,
Yeah, so it just happens. But anyways, let's move on to... let's talk a little bit about Venom.
Oh, boy. Venom.
So, we both saw this movie opening night.
Oh, yeah.
And what'd you think, Max? Because I don't get to do, a movie review with you often.
So, to condense it down, all my thoughts, I thought over it over the weekend, and it's a Hulk movie. It is the old Hulk movies where you're like, man, I love watching the Hulk smash. I kind of like this intricacies they're giving me with the people dynamic, but I wish they'd just shut up and give me more Hulk.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, the whole time I'm boiling it down, I'm like, what could they have changed? Oh, just give me more Venom,
Mm-hmm.
If they, the way they excluded Spider-Man in a storyline, it's really painful. It's really hard.
It's tough,
and not having Spider-Man there for a motivation is really hard for Venom, but it worked out okay. It's just they had to fill that time with something else, and that something else was essentially the Bruce Banner scenes where it's stop talking.
Especially with the way Tom Hardy portrayed Eddie Brock. It's Eddie Brock wasn't even surly or angry at anybody. He was very much Bruce Banner, where it was I get pushed around a lot.
Yeah, I get pushed around. I'm doing my best, and they tried to paint him as the investigative journalist that wouldn't be stopped. I'm like, yeah, except the only thing you showed me of him was him being stopped,
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I forget who looked up the statistic, but somebody was a quick Wikipedia search on Eddie Brock, and you control F to find Spider-Man, and there's only 150 entries for Spider-Man, so it's almost like an essential part of his story.
It is. That's the thing. It's he is one of the biggest Spider-Man villains, but that's the whole thing. He is a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
Without Spider-Man, he really shouldn't have come into creation. The fact that the movie was able to say, hey, here's Venom without him, I'm like, I applaud them for that, but them trying to dictate motivations on Venom without Spider-Man, because in the comic books, Spider-Man beats Venom enough to the point where Venom's like, why can't we win? And Spider-Man's like, well, if you put your powers to good, etc., etc. So it's there's no tutor there to teach Venom. He just, spoilers for the movie, he just decides I'm a good guy now.
Yeah, it was also kind of weird because it's he was wronged, or not that he was wronged, but he was fired by a company that he was working for out in San Francisco as a
journalist.
Reporter. Yeah, journalist. He was fired as a journalist from some big San Francisco publication, and then also Indian Elon Musk was kind of an asshole to him.
Yeah.
And it's just he wasn't spiteful at any of these dudes. He was still always trying to go down the straight and narrow. It's as if he was still it's as if he was playing the role of Spider-Man to the Venom. And it's just oh, well, we got to get these people out of here. And it's, I don't know, man, from my memory of the comics, it's, we need to eat these people.
Yeah, no, so Venom's birth in the comics was always anger and spite from both parties. Venom hated Spider-Man or wanted to be with Spider-Man, and he was jealous and spiteful because Spider-Man rejected him. Eddie Brock, who was put out of work by Peter Parker, hated Peter Parker. And since Venom knew that, Spider-Man was Peter Parker, spoilers fucking
Everybody knows.
no one should know, man. It
No,
should be a surprise.
Yeah, like he was the one that held on to the secret identity for the longest, I think.
Yeah.
It's like him and Batman are going the longest.
Oh yeah, no one knows that jawline though. But no, so the reason Eddie Brock and Venom even unite was because their mutual hatred for Peter Parker / Spider-Man. And I'm like, this is an essential part of his character. Why would Eddie Brock condone the violence of Venom unless there was such anger in his heart, you know? But in the movie, we're given an Eddie Brock who's, you know, trying to rein in a Venom, but still letting the Venom do what he wants.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Because like also in the comic books with Parker, like the reason why it was so intoxicating for Spider-Man to want the symbiote in the first place was he was reporting on it, and then it was like he became drunk with power because he was stronger than he was.
Oh yeah.
And it was a lot of like built up rage of like, I'm just trying to go out on a date and then you have to go do this kind of bullshit, and he's apprehending some other criminals.
Yeah.
And it's like, why the fuck can't we just have a world without you guys?
Right.
And that was like the mind game he was playing on himself.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's
Well,
like,
that's the
this kind of mentality is dangerous.
That's the Venom speaking. It's the whole, hey, I see the shortcut here. You know, if you just eliminate the enemies, there's no more enemies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's that whole like the hell fucking to paint it in current society. It's the whole reason people are afraid of cops. You know, it's like, oh well, who's gonna police the police? You know, what if they decide that, hey, I see a lot of crime in this area, let me just shoot up the area? You know, I mean, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
thankfully.
But
But
that
it's the
hasn't happened
idea.
yet, but-
It's the idea of, okay, fucking, you give Superman comes to Earth and he doesn't have an attachment to it, you know, and you tell him to stop crime. Well, what should he do? You know, every time there's a criminal,
just kill him.
laser eye beam them and be done with it. You know, that's the whole Venom thing. Venom is saying, hey, you have the strength to do this, go do it. And it's like being a schizophrenic. You know, you always have the voice speaking in the back of your mind.
Literally.
Yeah.
And that was, aside from the action sequences, that was probably my favorite thing about this movie was the straight man, funny man.
Yeah, the banter between them.
Between the symbiote and Eddie Brock. And it was like, that was really funny because it's like, Eddie is such a like nervous, like,
God,
you know, tried to play it by the straight and narrow, but then
you hit it on the head. He's fucking Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He's not Eddie Brock. He is Peter Parker in this.
and then, you know, the symbiote's very like, you know, oh, this is the alpha male of, you know, of his thoughts. It's like, if you were stronger, this is what you would do.
It's the fucking, hey, you are strong now, you know, punch that guy through the window, fucking go take that broad and grab her by the hair, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever.
This is, so
it's the caveman mentality versus a Peter Parker type, and Eddie Brock isn't a Peter Parker type, and stripping Spider-Man from the story hurts it like that. But I think they did well enough doing Eddie Brock as a Peter Parker alternate, considering that they said that they don't want to merge the universes. They wanted to be standalone.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, like, I didn't read that far ahead because I knew that this was already in the can before MCU was saying that they're going to start merging some of the storylines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this was already shot and filmed and done. Like,
Yeah.
because otherwise, I think if you would have proposed something like this to the MCU, they would have been like, get this shit out of here. Like,
Well, I mean, if you want to skip forward a little bit, I saw a report from one of the comic book geek websites that pop up on my little refresh list. But one of them said that Dark Avengers is in the works.
oh, cool.
So that brings to mind, as a comic book reader, that's what Dakin.
Well, like,
Venom.
it's Dakin, and then there's Bullseye instead of Hawkeye, and then, you know, there's all kinds of like
Venom instead of Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
it's like, and then that brings to, and I'm like, in my mind, is that alternate universe? Is that using this Venom? Are we gonna get, because Venom is part of the Dark Avengers under the guidance of Osborn.
as the Iron Patriot.
As
So
the
it's
Iron
like
Patriot,
if
the
you
most American motherfucker in the world, and he just has to be a villain.
he has to be a bad guy. It's so good. But okay, so like I liked that about the movie. There was a lot of things that were wrong with the plot
Yeah.
that this is an interesting discussion to get on where I was listening to one of the other podcasts that I listen to a lot, and one of the listeners wrote in, and it's like, why is there such a big problem with you guys in plot holes kind of deal? And like, why does, like, it's in the movie and you can't just relax and watch the movie with without thinking of the plot holes, and I'm just like, that sometimes really takes me out of it. I don't know how you feel about it, but when I see plot holes in like movies or games or something, and it's just like,
it depends on how invested I am in the series / characters. So for me, I'm like, I love Spawn, I love the Edgelords, I love Venom. Venom is amazing.
You're such a fucking 2000s Hot Topic kid.
Fucking love that shit. It's so cool to be edgy. Fuck you. No, you know what, bro? Okay, my love stems from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and what they allowed Venom to do. Because remember, fucking in MVC 2, you do the web swing with Spider-Man and he swings him around and he throws him against the wall. When you do the web swing with fucking Venom, he grabs them with the web and he slams them into the ground and he flings them over his head and slams them. He does this like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, that anger, that fucking power, and I love that shit. So that's why the scenes with Venom, I'm just like, this is stellar. Like he's like a puma, you know? Like when he jumps on the cars, he's lithe and he's powerful at the same time. You know, it's all speed and power that you see in him. So I'm willing to forgive if you give me more sequences like that show me what I want to see from the Venom, you know?
Yeah.
So you give me the titular character being amazing, and he was amazing. You know, the scenes with him, there's nothing to argue against other than it's a bit too dark.
Yeah, it's at night.
It's at night all the time. I'm like, he's a fully black symbiote goo monster. So it's like, well, they just do flashes of sequences and there's goo covering the screen. It felt like a Transformers movie with the action where it's like you can't tell where one person starts and the other person ends.
I fucking hate that about Transformers.
Oh my, yeah, but it's the same problem here, especially with the later scenes. But like the early scenes where it's him, you know, jumping on cars and swinging around and climbing on walls,
having a good old time.
I'm like, that's the Venom I want to see more of. You know, this movie showed me that they're capable of it. Now give me a story that's worthy of it.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem for me is the plot for this is that there was a plot hole right at the beginning where it was like the space shuttle crashed in Malaysia and then we established that the symbiotes are getting out, and then it's 6 months later. I'm like, so what happened in 6 months? Okay. Like, why was it attached to the one host for so long? Did this host go around eating people? And it took so long for them to get from Malaysia to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that made me question it. It's not like I was thrown like off the rails and like, oh, I can't fucking come back now. It's just like this could have been done and written better. Secondly, it's taking the canon out of this, right? Taking the whole Spider-Man canon out of this, taking all of Marvel and all of your previous knowledge. Like, let's just go for a new interpretation, a fresh face look at Venom.
Okay.
It still doesn't give me like Tom Hardy is a great actor. I still didn't want to root for him in this whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
He was very petty. It was very fucking weak. I can't root for guys that are always like wishy-washy, or like he displayed zero heroic qualities.
It's true.
So it's just like I can't root for this guy. He doesn't do anything that's compelling me to be like, I need to cheer you on. It's, man, you are a fuck up and you stole shit from your girlfriend that was confidential because she's a lawyer, and it's like, well, I know that you're gonna bust this lead wide open and shit, and it's like, and plot conveniences aside, it's just like, you fucked up, and you know you fucked up. You didn't really apologize for it until later on, and I still don't want to root for you because you seem like a general piece of shit.
Okay, would it change it for you if he had taken action but failed? So his neighbor is always playing the loud rock music. Would it have changed it for you if he had knocked on that door and told the guy to shut up, and the guy said no, and he tried to punch him and he lost that fight?
That would have been.
Would that have been better?
Yeah, I think so. Because instead, what we got was like the neighbor's playing the loud rock music, and he just like double pillows over his head, and I'm just like,
because he was trying to do yoga, and I'm just like, yeah, no. See
I forgot all about yoga.
Yeah,
yoga Venom.
See, I'm so infatuated with the Venom as the character, like, because there's multiple people that take on Venom in the comic books. So I'm like, you know what? Give me whatever interpretation of the carrier you want. I want to see the Venom symbiote do things. So I'm like, I'm rooting for the Hulk constantly. I don't care if it's Bruce Banner or his dad or anybody else. I want to see the Hulk. I want to see Venom, you know? So when you give, but yeah, no, I guess I guess that
as a character, was
as a
Eddie Brock
character-
would you root for him?
I would not root for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I told you in the theater, I want to see a romantic comedy of Eddie Brock as the loser trying to get the girl back.
Like in a rom-com?
Separately from Venom.
Yeah, in a rom-com, that would have been better.
Yeah, because it's a guy, and maybe he finds strength somewhere else, but not through a Venom symbiote.
Yeah,
but
this was like,
this is a loser that's always a loser.
This is the guy we have to cheer on to save the world. Like, because he had to save the world, right? And it's like, this is who we're cheering for?
To be fair, he didn't have any strength of his own character. Eddie Brock never became more of a man.
No, not until like even meeting up with the symbiote. It's like yeah,
like,
you're right.
At the very end of the movie, he was hiding stuff from his girlfriend as well because she didn't know that was there.
Yeah,
but he was carrying it along, and then we had the funny scene from the trailer, which I hate. So Sony Pictures apparently does this a lot, but I try not to watch a lot of trailers because I don't want to ruin movies, because Sony Pictures does this a lot where they show like the last scene of the film is in the trailer.
Really?
Yeah. You remember seeing the trailer, right? Oh, okay. So you lucked out. So there's a scene where Venom is talking to the robber guy, and he's like, "We are Venom," and then he attacks the guy in the trailer. And it's like, okay, once we hit that point in the movie, I'm like, well, that's the end of it. You know,
yeah.
I've seen this before. There's no pop. There's no gimmick
surprise
to this.
There's
no surprise that he's going to eat the guy, because he just did the whole damn thing in the trailer in the movie. And so I'm like, Sony Pictures needs to fucking stop that shit.
Oh, that, and also like, there's a lot of people complaining about the PG-13 rating on this movie. How do you feel? Because a lot of people would say that like Logan was rated R and that was really well, and same thing with both Deadpool movies. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. I think that it could have been a little gorier and whatnot, but
yeah, well,
I guess that would improve the action scenes instead of him like pushing all the cops.
Right. Well, the only thing that would affect would be the Venom moments, and the Venom moments are fine.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have a problem with him just slamming around cops and then eating bad guys.
No,
because he does eat people.
This is no different than watching, like, as far as the action scenes, it needed to present new things to me, and it did do some cool things, but some things were like really jarring.
Yeah.
As far as like the car chase scene, and it's just like, I fucking hate shaky cam with this shit, because I understand that it should feel like, if it's from the POV of the car, it needs to shake a bit, because it's like, you get the actual authentic experience. But when you're like fly on the wall and you're shaky camming it, it's like, I fucking can't stand that. Just put that shit on a tripod. Like, fucking stop.
Give me a steady shot. Show me action. Fucking go watch a Jackie Chan movie and learn from him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, show me the action.
But if we're in the POV, like we're mounted on the top of the fucking motorcycle as we're driving down, like, I want it to be shaky, because it's like,
fine.
I want to feel like I'm part of this.
Yeah.
But if I'm observing, it's like, I don't want it to be shaky, because it's like, I'm not like trying to be disoriented as I'm watching shit.
Yeah.
But that's a small pet peeve. What I was going to say is that like the action scenes with Venom were fine. It's no different than watching like Captain America, Iron Man.
They're not going to snap necks, but hey, that guy get blasted through a wall. He's not getting up.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not ever again. That's up to us to decide.
Yeah, but this was, it felt lazy on those kinds of parts,
I suppose.
Well, like not lazy. Lazy is a bad word for that, but it just didn't feel inspired.
Maybe. I think that might be a bad word as well. So, an R rating, the only thing they could push further would be actual blood and gore during the Venom scenes.
And then maybe more cursing. But that doesn't... And I'm like, okay, so what's strong in the movie is the Venom scenes already. So an extra rating would only boost those, and it would just add to the discrepancy between... So it's like, okay, so there's something negative about the Venom scenes is, I didn't see his entrails get cut out, you know? Or you see the actual people get eaten.
Yeah, it's like, that's fine to me. You know, I don't need to see the guy get eaten, because I just saw a headless body get tossed away. Yeah. I didn't see blood, but I saw a silhouette of a body without a head. I can put two and two together. We need to find a way to fix the Eddie
fucking
scenes.
Spoilers, dude.
There's plenty of... Okay.
You're not just ruining this movie. You're ruining Madoka for people, too.
That's... Fuck you, all right? Don't bring that shit up. She was the best one of them. She had the fucking best abilities, and fucking Madoka was fucking shit, and Homura could have saved her, and fucking
Yeah.
Bullshit, man.
Fucking bullshit.
Best character.
Can't believe this.
No, go watch Madoka.
Yeah, don't watch this.
That way, go watch Madoka if you want actual violence. If you want to see how heroes can be coming from villains.
Oh yeah, and we could actually Madoka had compelling characters to root for.
Yeah,
this was I didn't root for Eddie. The action scenes were good, and they were good. They weren't stellar. They weren't the best action scenes I've ever seen, but they were very good for the movie.
Oh yeah.
The plot was a little weak, and I got to tell you, I don't think I'm going to watch this again in theaters or spend actual money on it. If it's on a streaming service or something, maybe I'll watch it, but I'm not really rushing out to see this again.
So supposedly Tom Hardy said that there were 40 minutes of the movie that didn't make the cut that he loved. Like his favorite 40 minutes in that movie were on the cutting room floor. I will watch those 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I will not watch this movie again until the sequel comes out and if they can do it better.
Yeah.
Because, there's no question of a sequel because it's a Marvel movie and Sony wants to hold the rights.
Yeah, and with the ominous stinger at the end with Woody Harrelson, it's
it's a spoiler. Kind of. I don't know how I feel about those stingers. Are they spoilers to you? I feel like
if you can look them up on YouTube. I don't know if that's much spoiler territory because you could just look that scene up on YouTube.
Yeah, but I feel like because then you get stingers like the shawarma stinger where it's like, oh, this is crap, this is nothing.
This is nothing. It's just them eating fucking Greek food or Mediterranean food or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'm not good with geography either, or geometry or reading. So
food. I'm not good with that.
I know food goes in one end, comes out the other.
There you go.
But I don't think that this movie is all that great.
But stingers that lead to a sequel, especially now in the world that we live in for Marvel movies, for superhero movies, it's there's gotta be a sequel because this was an origin story. That's another thing for me. There has to be an origin story. They want it to be standalone, so there's no way you can squeeze in a Venom like Spider-Man 3 Venom. There's no way you can squeeze that into the MCU currently.
Yeah.
So I don't know this.
So a little surprise trivia. I don't know if you knew this. The guy who produced the third Spider-Man that pushed to get Venom in, he's the one that directed this one. Oh, because he was like, oh, I really love the character, but he didn't realize that I was over egging the pudding here. Fuck,
I think he might have been over egging a little bit here too.
Yeah, because this was also bad.
It's
Spider-Man 3.
5.
It's a 5 out of 10. Yeah, it's passable. I am not rushing out to watch it again, but if it's on TV, would I watch it? Sure.
It's the worst a movie can be. It isn't bad enough to make fun of. It isn't good enough to make note of.
Yeah, it's mediocre.
It is mediocre. If you like Venom, like me, to the point where it's fucking hell yeah, fucking you tell me there's Venom in something, I'll go check it out. Go watch it. Venom is great in this.
Yeah, this was fine to check out. But
if you like Eddie Brock, if you like the Spider-Man storylines with Venom, if you're that kind of a fan, might take a pass or catch it on Netflix, whatever. Mm-hmm. If you're empty but you like superhero movies, I don't know. That's a real mixed bag.
Yeah. So it is a mixed bag, and you're right.
It's a 6 out of 10 for me because Venom puts it over that 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm you're very with your bias glasses on. It's it's a 6 out of 10, not a 5. Yeah. But I'm still more at the 5.4 range where it's I wouldn't buy this movie tangibly. I wouldn't go to Comic-Con and ask questions on the panel. I don't really give a fuck. The
question I would ask is why is Eddie Brock such a bitch?
Yeah, it's just why. Right? Just why. This movie, why?
Why couldn't you wait and hash in the series? Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay, let's move on. All right, so we got some do you feel old yet? So, the classics.
Venom didn't make me feel old. Try and make me feel old.
You're old.
Okay, so October 2nd, 1959. Oh, once again, do you feel old yet? We just reminisce about shit that happened in the past.
I love the past.
Movies, music, TV.
Hey, nostalgia is how we live. If we don't learn from the past, we're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. So, well, some of these are really good, and I'd hope we repeat it.
Awesome.
October 2nd, 1959, Twilight Zone premieres.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is in my top 3, if not, in my top 3 of TV shows all time. Like, I was watching a lot of, like, Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Yeah.
And he was talking about The Simpsons, and he's right. Like, the early seasons of The Simpsons, like 8, 9, and under, like, I remember those so vividly, and they were done so well that, like, that era of The Simpsons, which is now actually the minority, because they're all on 30 fucking seasons.
Are they? Fucking Christ.
Yeah, so, like, their first 9 or 10 seasons, I would put up there as my number 1 favorite show all time, because every episode I could watch, and it's fantastic. This one might be up there too, because a lot of their episodes are very, very good to me. They strike a very specific chord, and there's been a lot of imitation of this stuff in a lot of other media. Yeah, a lot of imitation of the Twilight Zone in other media, right? Yeah. So, like, the Fear at 20,000 Feet with William Shatner seeing the Goblin on the wing of the plane.
That's right.
Like, that's a very, like, it's a meme. Like, not a meme, but, you know, it's a very well-known story that everybody knows already without actually watching it.
Yeah.
So it's same thing with, like, To Serve Man or Talkie Tina, like the doll that kills the fucking guy.
Yeah.
It spawned Child's Play with Chucky.
I never looked into the production of the Twilight Zone. That was like multiple writers just coming on for episodes, right? It was that kind of deal?
Yes and no. Like, I know that the head writer was Rod Serling.
Yeah.
Right? And he was also, like, executive producer of it too, so, like, he got the final say. So if you pitched him a good idea, he could always tweak it a bit, but he was very good with it.
Oh yeah, no, he's amazing. Like, because that's a show that was episodic. There was no overarching story to it. It was just the tales of either just, you know, ranging from something funny and humorous to watch that's out there to the point of, like, existential horror.
Yeah, you know? So there was, like, 2 episodes I can think that fit in the existential horror. Existential horror.
Yeah.
Extrastentials.
No, yeah. Multiple stentials.
Okay. So on the first hand, where it's lighthearted and it's a feel-good movie at the end, I can give you a couple episodes that I can think of that, where it's, like, Dust is one of them, where an old man, his son is being, like, prepared to be executed. He's about ready to be hung. Yeah. And he buys, like, in desperation, he buys, like, a sack of dust from a traveling wanderer. Right. And he sprinkles the dust around the kid, like, this is supposed to make you forget that, you know, how bad he was or whatever. Right. Right. And all the people in the town, because he's doing it on execution day as the kid's standing on the platform, and it's like, please spare my son, and he's throwing fucking sand at people. Yeah. And I'm just like, all right, that probably inspired Pocket Sand.
Pocket Sand.
But he's throwing sand at people, and then it's like, look, this didn't change anything. We have to hang him. So they go to hang him, and the rope breaks, and the kid lives, and we're not gonna re-hang him. I think we've been through enough today. Wow. So it's it feels kind of lighthearted because, like, everybody wins at the end. Yeah, yeah. But the other one, like the super existential one, like the 2 good ones on this one is It's a Wonderful Life is one of them, where it's, like, so absurd. It's the one with the kid where he banishes people into the cornfield.
Oh, that one. Fuck,
this is so what it is like, it's very reminiscent in today's culture, where it's, if you disapprove of a childish kind of mentality,
what the kid
banished.
Says, if he doesn't like you, you're gone.
Yeah, so if the mob doesn't like you, you're gone. But originally what it was written as was it started back in the 50s and 60s, where it was parents were just surrendering control to their kids.
Oh, Jesus.
This is the whole like spawn of bratty kids, where it's like, you can't hit them. They're
that hippie
one
movement
of us, and I can learn so much from you. And it's like discipline and punishment are 2 like words that we're never going to use in this house.
God,
so it's always giving them their way. And like, it just shows like how absurd it is to let a child run anything.
Yeah, because they don't know. There's no wisdom in that.
Yeah. Jeez. So It's a great show.
Twilight Zone. Like there's so many episodes. There's something to learn. Like if you're not learning something, you're at least being entertained by it.
Mm-hmm.
God, bless that show.
Yeah. So and then like there's another one like again spoiler alert ahead for the super existential one is 4 characters in search of an exit, and it's like there's an army sergeant and a clown and a ballerina and a hobo, and they're all like stuck in a room, and they're like, how the fuck did we get here? What are we doing? What's going on? And it's at the end of the fucking thing, like they see that there's a way up, like they're in like a silo, but there's no door on the side. It's just they're in a silo, and they look up and there's a hole, and they stand on each other's shoulders, and they eventually get up, and they're almost out, and then they get knocked back in, and what you find out is that they're toys. They were toys trying to escape a fucking donation bin.
There you go. Fucking
it's so good. Do not let the black and white turn you off, because like there's a lot of like antique ways they greet each other.
Yeah.
They don't say "Sup, dog."
Yeah.
They're "How are you doing, sir?"
You know what? Like I feel like the stories that they tell are some of those timeless ones. Like it will fit every level of society. Like you don't have to live on the farm, but the story that happens on a farm you can relate to in some way. You know, because it's definitely it's about personalities and characteristics of people, and these things don't change in the blink of an eye. Like people are still petty, people are still cruel, people are still filled with goodness and able to help each other, and these are what the stories revolve around, regardless of the setting.
And lastly, one of my other favorite ones that I'll just put out there and then we'll move on, because I could go on about Twilight Zone for fucking ever, because I love it so much, is The Obsolete Man.
Yeah. Oh
my God, Max, watch this and tell me that like this couldn't have taken place today, right?
Okay.
Because what happens is that it becomes like an ultra modern fucking like a super avant-garde fucking depiction of today's society.
Okay.
Where it's like, okay, so we've decreed that, you know, science has proven that God isn't real, and you are no longer allowed to believe, and if you do believe or you say things or do things that are, you know, seen against the public's eye, you're obsolete and you must be executed.
Wow.
Right? And Burgess Meredith, the guy who plays Mickey from the Rocky movies, gives one of the best fucking performances I've ever seen, and all you're doing is rooting for this meek man because he believes in something and he wants to achieve it. God. And he's being told he's fucked up and stupid at every turn. And the way he wins at the end is just so fucking uplifting.
God.
So that's really like, it's on Netflix. It's on Hulu. You guys should fucking watch it.
It's probably on YouTube.
It's probably on YouTube. It's that good.
Yep.
All right. So let's move right along. October 4th, 2011, Dark Souls for everything.
Fucking Dark Souls.
So this game, you got to fill me in. This is all I know is about the back rolling.
So it's roll and poke. That's what people want to break it down to.
And the GIF or the WebM that I see all the time on 4chan, where it was like the guy, he's walking and then he lifts up the torch and there's like this big like skeleton, and then he like, just turns around and it's nope.
Yeah, no, it's good. So Dark Souls, it wasn't the first one. So Demon Souls came out on PS4, and it was brought to you by From Software, who are the guys that brought to you Tenchu and Armored Core. Okay. So it was out there, and so Demon Souls was a thing. And then the producer from that was given reign, or the guy that got put as producer. Demon Souls had issues. They gave it a new producer like halfway through, and he saw it through to the end. And they said, hey, this was pretty good on PS4. Let's make a sequel. Oh, but Sony owns the rights because business deals. Sony owns Demon Souls. Let's make a new game called Dark Souls. It's kind of the same thing, but better. And that's what they did. And a lot of people were being brought back to the sequences of youth, where remember playing fucking Super Mario Brothers and you get hit by a Goomba once and you die.
Yeah.
And then you got to go back to the checkpoint. That is exactly Dark Souls. It's you learn the level layout, you learn the attack patterns of the enemy. It's overcoming that challenge. You know, it's either you gung ho and you just swing your sword at shit until it kills you, and then you're like, oh well, I'll just dodge that next time. You know, fucking I'll just jump on the Goomba next time. It's that same style of learning and the that negative feeling of, oh crap, I lost, fucking I have to go back through the level. Or for Dark Souls, your currency that you use to level up your character gets dropped where you died.
Oh, so you run out of rings like Sonic.
Exactly. So, but you have to go back and collect it. So that gives you the drive to go back and just...
Is your currency souls?
Yes, because it's Dark Souls. Oh my God,
that's so on the nose.
The whole game is on the nose. So, but it was designed as a video game first. You know how much lore there is? None. There is fucking like the only things you learn about the world are by reading the item descriptions. Okay. So it'll be like, this sword was crafted in this nation and it was brought over the sea by merchants. And that's all you know. And so you're running through this, and it's the same as, Super Mario Brothers. Like, what the hell do you know?
What does it matter? You're jumping on turtles and going down through pipes.
I'm going a direction to save a princess. In Dark Souls, I'm going down a direction to save the world. Why? I don't know.
Okay, so hold on. Let's break this down real quick. Yeah, you're running and you're trying to save the princess, but then she says no, and then the boss was like, how about I be the princess?
Right? Dark Souls says, why aren't you the princess?
Yeah,
and you're like, well, fuck it, I'll be the princess. But no, it's a harken back to, old school difficulty, and a lot of people found it refreshing because at the point in time that it was released, it was a lot of very forgiving games where it's like, oh, here's a checkpoint 2 minutes or not even 2 seconds behind you. Oh, you died. Well, there's no lives here, so just keep going.
Yeah.
It's all too easy and stuff like that. And then this invited the idea that, hey, if you're not good enough, you're going to get punished for it. But it's not like the advertising for it wanted to sell it higher than that, like, oh, you're going to die or you're a loser kind of thing. So like
if you die in the game, you die for real.
Yeah, the marketing was really bad on that point, but it was just an honest game. It was fucking Castlevania, but you don't have to start over at the very beginning at any point,
okay.
So it's that whole style of, well, you learn the layout, you learn there's a Medusa head here, you learn there's a crow here, and then you feel that accomplishment when you're like, duck, jump, bam.
Poke, roll.
Yeah, exactly. Poke, roll. There's enough variety in the weapons and the magic.
I brought this game up because it became so prolific.
Yeah, because, like I said, it's just because the difficulty pulled back to the SNES Genesis era with that whole idea that if you're not good, you're not going to make it. But you can be good.
I didn't even realize that was a new thing. Yeah. Because I just thought that every game should give you some sort of challenge.
Yeah.
Until I saw that not the one on Switch, but one of the Mario games where it was you could just do easy mode and just skip levels.
Yeah. Fucking if you see the newer Marios, you instead of dying, you go into remember Yoshi's Island where if you lose Mario, he goes in the bubble. Except with the Mario games nowadays, you go in the bubble and it carries you over all the pits until you pop and you're on safe land. Oh. And I'm like, that was the state of gaming when Demon Souls and Dark Souls came to be.
Okay.
That's why it got so big. And the whole rise of Twitch and streamers and doing, they over exaggerate shit. But I'm like, that helped it because they're like, oh my God, they're doing the whole I'm angry at Dark Souls thing. I smashed my keyboard at Dark Souls. It was a really good game for that. And they promoted Dark Souls as well, so it was good. It was a good synergy for that.
Yeah, to go off on a quick jag because welcome back to the Jabberin' Jagoffs podcast.
Hey, I'm Jabberin'.
So we are to go on a quick side jag. I remember when Cuphead first came out.
Oh,
I played a little bit of this and I was like, oh, this game's cool. It's like Contra except cell shaded in your cups.
Yeah.
And
Cups,
I'm like,
really good animation.
Yeah. Oh, I think the animation's stellar.
It is fucking amazing.
But I remember all the backlash of this game's too hard when it first came out. And I'm like, is the game too hard or are you just too shitty as a gamer?
Yeah.
And it's that's a real reflecting moment where I do this. I'm notorious for beating myself up. But when I'm playing Magic, sometimes I'm like, was that guy actually good? Or am I just bad?
Did I just play the wrong thing at the wrong time?
Yeah.
So gaming as a business is working in the millions of dollars for production side. They are working on above movie production levels. The AAA titles are costing above and beyond what AAA movies are costing. So what they're trying to do is lower the barrier of entry because, you want to cast the wide net to get as much money as you can in. But the problem with that is, you pull in all the Fortnite kiddies who just click the buttons to see the flashy lights, and then, but once they hit real games, fucking, if you ever gave them Super Nintendo and said beat Mario World, fucking, they'd be like, I can't get past Donut Island,
Yeah, because people are looking for games that they can play while they're surfing on their phone.
Yeah, it's fucking Christ. To go on a jag here, it's the idea of, when you go out with your friends and half of them are on their phones while you're at dinner instead of fucking talking to each other, people want to be invested in themselves so goddamn much. But it's like games, that's why I'm personally having a hard time finding a single player game to nail down to, because that idea, and I'm aware of that. Fucking, I enjoy playing multiplayer games. I'll play my phone games because they're quick and fast and fun, and I know I have a goal that I'm working towards in them. But when I sit down for like a single player game, it's like, do I have time to spend 20 minutes on this game focusing, because I have to focus or else I'll die, like in Dark Souls, Yeah,
and that was why I was telling you should get Castlevania Symphony.
Exactly, it's like, do I have that time? It's like, well, sometimes you have to make time, and Dark Souls is one of those games. It's like, sometimes you have to make time. The atmosphere was different. No one was putting out gothic horror. No one had a world built like Dark Souls does. It's like Symphony of the Night. It's like you're moving from one area of the castle to the next, but you're passing through these same portions that you're seeing before. But every time you pass through, you're coming back with a new ability. You're stronger. You're better. What's coming up in the next area.
Yeah, and sometimes you fork on the wrong side of the road, and now you're in an area where everybody's a little too powerful for you.
Oh yeah. So one of the funniest things for Dark Souls is at the main hub area where you start at after you leave the little tutorial area. The main hub area has like a path going up, and you're like, well, that's all the way up there. This has a little downstairs area to a graveyard. Let me go there. And as soon as you step into that place, there's no levels in there for enemies. Like, it doesn't tell you what level the enemies are, but essentially you're fighting like level 40 skeletons and you're level 1, So think like Legend of Zelda 2. You go in there and you're like, well, let me hit it. And it takes 1 hit point off of his 100 hit point health bar.
Yeah.
And
then he can one shot you.
Yeah, and he's looking at you and he laughs and he decks your ass.
Yeah.
So like this is what Dark Souls does. It's like, that's not the path you want to take. Try going up, It's
but it's all the way over there.
Yeah, but it's all the way over there. Some people tough it out and they go down there and they go into that pit with the skeleton with the torch and they turn around and like, nope. Yeah. It came at the right place at the right time before everyone else had the idea to.
Yeah.
It's the reason why bands get huge, because they evolved first. From Software took a chance at this I think it's Hideaki Miyazaki. No, it's something Miyazaki is the producer's name. They took a chance on this producer and gave him Demon Souls, and then they gave him Dark Souls, and he made them hits because he saw the zeitgeist beforehand. So it's great. It's slow. It's clunky. It's not for everyone. Honestly, it's really not. No game is. No movie is. No music is. But give it a chance, because it's one of those where, what's defining of a genre? What's defining of the state of gaming at this time? What do you listen to in the early 90s? Well, I suggest Nirvana's Nevermind. I suggest Dark Souls.
Yeah. So one last joke before we move on to the next one is, it's, like you said, gothic horror. It's like, well, I want a game that represents that I'm frustrated at my sexuality and I shop at Hot Topic often, and it has to start with the word dark or demon, and it should let you know that I'm a good guy at heart. So maybe Souls. So do you got something like that?
Yeah. It's like that. If you want to hurt yourself, get Dark Souls.
Yep. Okay. All right, so let's go right into October 6th, 2015. I don't have too much to say about this game, but Super Meat Boy gets a PSN release. It's kind of tough sometimes to find like good things to talk about, but every fucking, like, since 2013, every fucking thing that lists is like PSN release or Xbox Live release, and it's just like, okay. But I remember playing Meat Boy. Did you play any of this?
I played it. I played it before I played Dark Souls, and I got frustrated at it because it's
hard.
It's the concept. It is the same fucking let's go on this jag. So Dark Souls leads into Meat Boy. Correction, which came first?
Dark Souls.
I'm pretty sure Dark Souls
2011. Meat Boy
well, the PS4 release is 2013. They might have came around the same time, but it was the same concept of, for Meat Boy, it was platforming difficulty. And
this was if Mario was super hard.
yeah, if Mario was super hard, there you go. Fucking every Bowser Castle where you just fall in the pit or the fire hits you, that was Meat Boy all the time.
I had a bit of problems trying to figure out like how to gauge jumping in Meat Boy, because it's like, oh, you can like super jump or not jump, or
just float jump, or
that took me so long to figure out, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't keep doing this.
I got like 4 worlds in, I think, or like I got to the point where I started clearing the old maps on hard mode, and I was like, this is too bland. Like if you ended it like at 3 worlds, I'd be like, hey, that's a fun, $10 game, because hey, it was hard. I liked it's rote memorization. It's the same as like bullet hell games, where it's like the patterns are always going to be the same. It's all about you effectively navigating them. Except this is platforming; those are bullets. Same shit.
Same shit.
It was all right.
Did you play it with a controller?
I'd play it with a controller.
Yeah, I did too. Because I'm like,
it was fine, honestly.
I think Robert played it on the keyboard.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you use the arrow keys to move, but then you use the space bar to jump, and I'm just like, I would already fucking feel like I'm cross-brained.
Right.
Because
I play a lot of action MMOs like that. I play the Korean MMO action games, like beat 'em ups, essentially, like that. But it's the same thing. It's like I move and I jump with the space bar and I dodge with the shift key. But I'm like, I could easily do this on the controller. It's like Meat Boy is definitely controller friendly. It's just all about, it just got old for me because it's only memorization. There's no new advances. You don't gain techniques. You just jump, double jump, wall jump, go.
Yeah. So let's move it right along into something that I do want to talk a little bit more about. October 7th, 1999, Marvel vs. Capcom for the Dreamcast. This is the home edition.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, and then you also had the fucking, like, the weird memory card that had, like, actions on it.
Oh, yeah, with the little chibi characters.
Yeah. Okay. This game was the one that spawned the one that I played, like, infinite hours of, and I don't mean MVC Infinite, I mean MVC 2. This was a 2v2 sort of, right? Because it was, you had your guy, but you had an assist.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like, 2v2.
Was it? No, it was.
Oh, it was 2v2, but then...
It was 2v2 with an assist.
With an assist. Okay, so it wasn't... It's not like how MVC2 was, where it was 3v3.
Yeah.
This is 2v2 with an assist.
Yeah. Oh, man. I did play the technical home version, but I played it emulated on my PSP, because I didn't play MVC1 outside of arcades until I played it on my PSP. I didn't play the Dreamcast version. But
I think I did.
Knowing the Dreamcast, it probably had long load times, and it probably filled the Dreamcast with those jet engine sounds of it whirring up, because it had to load. So it's like, and you're like, oh god, is it going to die this time?
Yeah.
But that was a great game. Like, going from Marvel versus Street Fighter was the very, very originator of this, and then it went into MVC1, which was great. Like, it was just advances, advances upon advances, and that's where they had Venom, and you had your Spider-Man, you had your Mega Man, you had Ryu, you had all those fun characters, and then the assists. So I've seen tournament play, and there's a way you can pick your assist that I never learned.
Yeah, because that's right, because the assist was like
it was random. It was the roulette thing.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then so you'd end up with fucking, what was it, Devil-Lot, where she stands still and explodes. And,
I always got like Arthur.
And you're always hoping for Colossus.
Yeah, I'm like, I want the one that like comes across the screen.
Oh,
no,
man.
This, or like, was Captain Commando in this? That was two.
Captain Commando. Captain Commando was the assist.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like Commando was like one of the best assists because it's so much fucking screen.
Hell yeah.
But you never got that. I always got Arthur, and he would come out, throw 3 sticks, and run off. And I'm just like, you son of a bitch, you're useless.
You know what they had in 1 that they didn't have in 2, I don't think, was the crossover combination, where you do like the backwards super motions, and you put the buttons, and you get both characters on the screen at the same time to attack from both sides.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Then you're just like, well, I'm going to do Fireball with a kick for Venom's bite, and then I'm gonna do Mega Man's Leaf Shield at the same time, and then I'm gonna throw the Leaf Shield and do Venom Splash, and it like your brain was racking yourself for combination style, you know, like you wanted to style on people once you pulled that out, instead of just doing supers. And then you had the multiple layers of supers. You could do the 2 supers at the same time, and it gave you the specialized win quotes. So it's like Shoryu Mega Man finish. You know.
Oh, that's
like
right.
that.
They used to hybrid the name.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Oh, that's
it
so
was
cool.
good. Like there was a lot of style. There's a lot of flair in it. You know, for what it is. I mean, it's a flashy, dumb fighter. Probably tournament wise, it's probably busted. You know, there's probably some overpowered characters in there.
Yeah, but like this was the predecessor to MVC2, and I know you and I sank way more hours into that than this.
In 2 and it went nuts. But like I said, I played on PSP and just fighting the computer. I just had fun doing that. You know, like that's the epitome of what people play game, or like a lot of the normal like the Fortnite people play the games for. They just want flashy stuff. MVC 1, flashy stuff, you know. Marvel vs. Capcom 1.
So, okay, and then let's move into same day, October 7th, but 1995. This one was kind of interesting. Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. Like, this was the album of you could be a chick and be angry as fuck.
I mean...
She had one hand in her pocket.
And another one was hailing a taxi cab? Wait, this was ironic, right?
Yep.
Oh my god,
it's like rain.
It's
on
like
your
rain
wedding
on your
day.
wedding day. It's the ironic song that has nothing about irony in it. You know,
it's just inconveniences.
Yeah, it's mildly inconvenient or just coincidental.
Yeah,
it wasn't. She's not bad. I never liked her full collection. I liked her music. I like what I heard on the radio. It was fine.
Yeah, that was but like we were talking about like things from certain eras that you'd recommend. I'm like, I think this is one of those things.
Yeah, this has to be one of
like
those
95,
things.
96. Like if you were describing 1995,
if you say mid 90s, I would eventually loop around to being looking on my YouTube collection and being like, oh yeah, Alanis Morissette. Listen to that. You know, that might be good.
Yeah, this is I don't have a love to put this back into my Spotify rotation at any time, but I do remember this album very much.
Well, I listen to Pandora and I got the 90s station and that'll pop up and I'm like, I'm not gonna switch off.
I'm not gonna switch it. Yeah, I agree, because like that's how I feel. Like it is legitimately good.
Yeah.
It's just not. It doesn't really like fit where I'm at in my life right now.
Yeah,
you know? And
that's what it is.
I've always had this marker for things when we're talking about like what you think is like actually good art is always give it time and then revisit it. Like one of my favorite movies is Reservoir Dogs. Oh, yeah. And I could watch that any fucking day of the week because it's still as good as the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
But there's certain things, like there's certain movies or anime that I'm just like, man, I used to like this.
Yeah.
Everybody liked Sword Art at one point.
Man, like, so one of the guys in Discord brought up Disturbed, and I was like, he's like, this is my favorite song, and I'm like, I was going back and I'm like, man, what was my favorite song? Oh, Dropping Plates. Let me go back and listen to that. I'm like, I still like most of the song, but there's like, you find those negatives. You find like, there's too much downtime in this heavier song.
Yeah.
But it's like, but so like, yeah, if I were to turn on Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill, I'd be like, I'm not against this, you know.
No, I'm not.
I would let it run through. You know, I have nothing bad to say about it. It didn't have a turning point in my life. Maybe if I was a female, maybe it would affect me more. You know?
Exactly.
She was speaking to people like her. You know, it was definitely it was very towards a female voice, very towards this kind of soured on society as a female kind of thing. It wasn't bad to listen to, but
yeah, I mean, I didn't.
It has its identity.
I didn't put this in the discussion without, any just sporadically. Like, no. It's because it is still resonating in today. Like,
yeah, to someone out there, it still resonates. It hit harder for other people than for us, but we don't hate it.
No, I can still look at it and say this is good.
Yeah,
I just don't I'm not going to go out of my way for it.
I'm going to go out of my way and listen to it tonight now.
Okay,
I just want to give it a shot.
Okay, and then we'll close it out right here with October 9th, 2012, XCOM Enemy Unknown. I think this is the sequel.
This is the Firaxis-made sequel to the original XCOM UFO Defense. So XCOM had a little sordid history where they made like UFO Defense came out and it was a strategy game in the 90s, and people were like, oh man, zeitgeist, let's make a whole bunch of them, and then they sell like crap. You know, it's that whole problem. It's like a day late, a dollar short kind of thing. Or really for them, it was we mastered it on the first go.
Oh,
you know, like
I really wanted to like this game because I remember watching you play XCOM a lot.
Yeah,
but
so like that was in the 90s. They mastered it on the first one, and then the sequels were all kind of crap. Firaxis came back and got the rights for it later in what year again?
2012.
2012. So they were working on it in 2010, 2011, and then they came back and brought it out in 2012. And for like a lot of diehard people like me, I played the first one like multiple times. It was a hard game. This is one of those, if you don't learn, you're gonna lose. Even if you do learn at the last level, you could lose, kind of thing. But they made a lot of changes from that but it was still hard.
Mm-hmm.
So in the very original in the 90s, you could just bring a squad of people that could fill up your like drop ship. So you're thinking Predator, you know, it's like how many people can you fit on the helicopter? All of them.
Like, okay.
You know, it's like, so you're bringing a squad of 12 people in the original game. In the remake, in this one, you are limited to 6 people. And so it's like you have to pick and choose who you're bringing, what their specialties are, because
it was tactic based.
It was tactic based. It's okay. I'm just gonna dive in. So the first one was open ended. Your soldiers were soldiers. They had no roles. You equip them whatever the hell you feel like. You know, if this one guy's stronger than the others, he's getting a heavy weapon. You know, if this one guy can move more, he's the scout. You know, and then you decide based on that. With the new one, they gave them classes. So when your guy got a rank up. From rookie, which is like anything goes, but crappy gear. So you're going from basic warrior in Final Fantasy and then once they upgrade, it's random what they become.
Oh,
so,
I kind of like that.
Yeah, until you get like a team of nothing but snipers. And you're
so every time I turn on TF2.
Yeah, right. So then you got everyone sitting back and you're like, who's gonna find the aliens? Not me. I'm a sniper. You know?
Yeah, it's like, who's gonna push the cart? Not me.
Exactly.
Not me.
And then. But the remake kept that fatality of the original, where when a soldier dies, they die. They're gone from your squad forever. If they get injured, they take penalties to their stats. So you're like, if they get injured, I'm just going to reload the save file. It's like, it's that kind of hard. Okay. I mean, or you could be a real man and just take it, you know?
That sounds more like me.
Hell yeah. I mean, if he's weak, he's weak. I'm just going to use him as a scout now.
Yeah.
But it's this difficulty but it's the same basic strategy structure. You know, I have a limited amount of moves. I have to find the enemy. I have 6 members on my team. I know they have more than that over there. So I have to move tactically. I have to set up positions. I have to flank. I have to get the drop on them and then at the very end, I just have to pray they don't hit me, you know? And it's really good. It's really tense. The biggest complaints that I can weigh against it is it's buggy, it's unoptimized, like load times are long, there are bugs that will break the game and cause like a crash to the desktop, and like I'm pretty sure they're still in the game. So like there's negatives with it functionally, but as a game, if it doesn't crash on you, it's fantastic. It is what you want a squad based tactics game to be. It's always difficult. At every point of the game, the aliens are a step ahead of you in levels of technology. So, you know, you have basic rifles and they have laser weapons. Once you learn laser weapons, they bring plasma weapons. And, you know, once you get armor, you know, eventually you reach the point where you have all their technology, you know, and then it's like, okay, now we're on even footing. You know, they're trying to attack you psychically with attacks, and you're using your guys to psychically attack them. You take control of one of their guys and have him gun down his buddies, and you're attacking a dropship with like 40 plus aliens with your squad of 6. Okay. Then you're feeling like a man, you know?
Because now you're bringing on the hordes.
Yeah, and then you assault the mothership and you take them out, and you're like, that was a fucking game to beat. And like it's not thick in story. You know, it's you versus aliens. What's there to say?
This is heavy on gameplay.
Oh, it is all gameplay. It's the moment by moment.
This appeals a lot to people's strategies. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like their whole, like, that part of their brain that they like to use the strategy part.
Yeah.
This is it.
Like,
so,
and like some of the advances they added to the remake was like an action cam. So like when in the old game, it's top down. I shoot at the alien, I see the laser beam fly at them, and that's it. In this one, it does like behind the over the shoulder kind of thing. As your soldier shoots at an alien, it'll like follow the bullet, and maybe it'll miss, maybe it'll hit, and you're just hoping that action cam is telling you something good. And then you see it slow mo, and he gets shot, and he spins in the air, and the blood's flying everywhere. Like, they did really good at updating this. Some hardcore people are like, I still want to bring my squad of 20 people and just steamroll them. But like, you know, you make do with what you got. Like, God bless them for keeping a franchise like this alive, you know, for having faith that something that's, you know, in a lot of people's minds, like a lot of people still want to play the commander. A lot of people want to lead, you know. And so this is one of those games that allows you to do that within, you know, the confines of the game space.
Yeah. So, yeah, really good. So let's close up the show. We've got Scumbag Stupid News right now.
All
and
right.
then we'll give our sign-offs. So, all right.
Scumbag Stupid News.
So as always, the Scumbag Stupid News, I'm just going to read stories that I fucking saw on my Twitter that kind of pissed this scumbag off.
Hey.
So it's confirmed, Max. It is confirmed, you fucking faggots.
Hell
All right.
yeah.
James Gunn has confirmed that he's going to write and direct a group of ragtag people that shouldn't have been together to overcome evil. That's right. He's going to write and direct Suicide Squad 2.
You're kidding me. Oh my fucking, this is news to me. What?
Yeah, this is breaking.
Oh my God.
So, FBI finds no misconduct in the Kavanaugh case. Some say this is the worst decision the president's made since his text message. I do love the power that he has to where he can annoy you without your consent.
I just want him to send me cat pictures.
Oh, man. Okay, so from bust to busted, hundreds of women protest the Kavanaugh appointment hearings, right? Celebrities like Amy Schumer and Emily Ratajkowski.
She's winning.
Yeah, whatever. Look, they were just trying to say that he's dangerous and he doesn't know when to stop, and apparently they didn't pass the boof test. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but they got arrested for, like, obstruction charges. Like, they're trying to charge into the, like, this women's movement. Like, they were peaceful protest, and then some of them tried to start barging through the doors, and I'm like, okay, that's
man.
where you need to get arrested.
Yeah,
'Cause you
nothing proves him, you know, wrong as, you know, physically assaulting him.
Okay, so Ronaldo loses Nike sponsorship. Unfortunately, after all the Me Too stuff, Ronaldo wasn't crazy enough for his dreams, quotes Nike representative.
No.
Oh shit, here we go. This one's kind of interesting. Google Plus shuts down after nearly 7 years, right? What are we going to do without it? I guess we'll just have to post shit on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or Tinder or Grindr or Glory Hole Finder.
Or anything else. I
Yeah.
didn't know that thing existed for 7 years.
Yeah, rip in pieces, Google minus. In educational news, all right, here we go. I got a little game for you. You're going to play along.
All right.
I've got a couple of sample questions from a test that was given out to middle school kids in British Columbia.
Oh, God, help me.
And basically what the teacher was looking for was specific answers, right? Because you're looking to put these questions and you're trying to label them as either, it's a political question.
Oh,
right.
good.
So you're trying to label it as either right wing or left wing. All right.
Okay.
So here, do you want a couple of these questions?
Yeah, shoot.
Which party wants world peace?
Right wing.
Which party wants a higher minimum wage?
Left wing.
Which party is racist?
Right wing.
Which party hates the truth?
Right wing.
Yeah, these were the answers
Am I answering right?
These are the answers that asshole was looking for.
Wow.
And he was doing this to kids that are like 10 to 12 years old. I don't know. It just said middle school.
Was one of those questions, who wants to kill your family? Fucking
Yeah,
Christ.
so he got sued soon after by one of the parents because it's like, this is kind of poisonous that you're trying to say this. And then the Super Nintendo had to come out and he was like, hey, we don't know the context of the class or what was going on. It's like,
No,
I'm
fuck
pulling
you.
my fucking kid out of this school because you're letting some guy
You're-
spout left-wing propaganda.
You're forcing partisan politics inside of a neutral zone.
Yeah, exactly. This is supposed to be a place of education and let the kids make their own decision.
Yeah.
Like,
They're too young.
I'm not saying
you are shaping minds here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying one side's better than the other for every reason, but it's not fair that you're doing it at such an impressionable age.
Now,
You know
I
what
can't see it, but I can almost guarantee that anyone that answered that right wing is a positive thing, I'm sure they got Fs.
Yeah. So, all right, and then the last one is the winner of the stupidest headline
Hell
award. This one goes to Twitter. It said that more Americans are drinking beer after Kavanaugh was appointed Supreme Court. According to Twitter headlines, beer consumption went up on Saturday.
Hey.
Right, like, because that's when Kavanaugh got appointed. But that has nothing to do with, like, I don't know, UFC 229 with Ed Madoff and Conor McGregor.
Hey.
Or how about Michigan and fucking Mississippi like NCAA game, or any of these other fucking things.
I was gonna say, isn't football kind of in season?
Yeah, so they were just saying beer consumption was up
I don't
because
know,
of
man.
Kavanaugh, and I'm like, why are you trying to paint the picture? Like, you're trying to use just general shit, and now it's like we're trying to paint it as, oh, look how many people are so fucking happy that Kavanaugh is in, and now all of America is racist.
I bet you beer consumption was up even further on that Sunday. Because football.
Because football, yeah. So
Oh, I mean Kavanaugh.
yeah, exactly. That's what everybody was cheering for, was Kavanaugh,
Hell
because
yeah.
like we unearthed, or like the Adam Carolla show unearthed some fucking testimony of Kavanaugh from like July.
Okay.
Right. So this is before he even got accused of any of this shit.
Solid.
And he is the most boring, dull fuck I've ever heard, where he was like, I have 2 daughters and I coach their little league basketball games, and the proudest point for me is not being a judge and being nominated for Supreme Court, but it's being a dad and going to all these games, and they call me coach. And I'm
God
Coach K,
damn it.
and it's just like,
Feeling
you're
so fucking American right now.
Yeah, I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, do you think anybody cares? Like, this is the same kind of bullshit politics that I've heard all my life.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm fighting for you, and I'm going to make the world better for you.
And
And
that's like, no, we get it, man. You're a politician. We got it.
yeah, you have to say what's going to appeal to the most constituents. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair that Twitter was kind of like trying to paint this broad picture just because people drink beer on a Saturday.
There's a lot of beer drinkers in America. We can't all be fucking, I don't know. What was it, rapists?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm not saying that all beer drinkers are rapists, but maybe it's one of those things where all rapists are beer drinkers.
I mean, I'm personally a fine whiskey drinker, and all beer drinkers could possibly be rapists. I wouldn't know that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the Scum Bag and Friend show. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any comments, concerns, or anything you want us to talk about, tweet us at the Scumbag Show. Follow us on YouTube, because we're on YouTube now.
Hey.
iTunes also. Anything out the door, Max?
Enjoy your beers, rapists.
Yeah. So, one last thing. Apparently, it's off the spectrum. That's right, you assholes. Take the burgers out of your ass, because Asperger's is not a spectral disorder anymore.
Oh, finally.
Yep. All right. We'll see you next time.